It is November 2024. My name is Ronald Otim. Today, I speak to the senior trial lawyer at the International Criminal Court, Natalia Brown, and I'm going to ask her whether the prosecution of Joseph Kony, which is likely to be underway, is going to be a successful thing. I will ask her whether the reparation will be intact and whether the people of northern Uganda, especially the victims of the LRA war, will finally get the things that they deserve in the form of reparation, and whether the international community is relaxed about the pursuit of Joseph Kony, who has been eluding arrest since 2005. Well, thank you. For the last 20 years, actually, Joseph Kony has been evading arrest, and today I'm talking to Leonie Vaughan, who is actually a lawyer. And I would like to know some things concerning Joseph Kony, because now the confirmation of charges against him is actually underway. First of all, you've come to the country here, especially in northern Uganda. What brings you, from the ICC to this part of the country?
For the past few days, we have been conducting a mission focused on engaging with victims' communities, with stakeholders and the media in the region, to inform about the confirmation of charges proceedings and give updates on where the case against Joseph Kony is at right now.
Okay, after the confirmation date has actually been postponed, it should have been in October, but now we're waiting for the date to be communicated later. So when this is done, are they going to proceed with the trial in his absence? Because this confirmation is coming in the absence of Joseph Kony himself.
Unfortunately, it is really just that, a confirmation of charges hearing. At this hearing, the judges will listen to the prosecution. We will present our evidence. The defense, who has been appointed, will be able to make submissions, as will victims' representatives. And afterwards, the chamber will have to decide whether or not to confirm the charges. This is a necessary procedural step under the Rome Statute. But since Mr. Kony is not present, this will not automatically result in a trial. We do not have a trial in absentia at the International Criminal Court.
Actually, he has been indicted in 2005, and up to now, he's still at large. Now, what happens when, for instance, we fail to get Kony, the ICC fails? Because you've been talking about this, and you said the ICC hasn't got an army, no police, and so they rely on the arm of the member countries who subscribe to the ICC. What happens when he's finally not even found, or probably when he dies? Will the case proceed?
Well, if there's tangible evidence in the future at any point that he is deceased, then we will most probably have to terminate the proceedings. This is the normal course of events, and has unfortunately also happened with regard to other top LRA leadership. If we have the confirmation of charges hearing, the charges are confirmed, our efforts to seek his surrender or obtain his arrest will continue unabated. But of course, if he is never arrested, never surrendered, and then dies, we will not have a trial.
Okay. The same thing actually happened with Okoto Jambo, Rascal Lukwea. They've been indicted about the same time, but now they died, and so the cases have been dropped. Now, what will that mean for the victims of LRA?
Yes, unfortunately, that would be tremendously bad news for the victims and for the international community as a whole. We want to ensure that he stands trial, that he is brought to book on these horrendous charges, but that would mean that victims, also those who have participated in the proceedings, would have no chance of reparations at all.
Definitely, that is something that sounds sad. But also, I would like to know your comment in regard to the ICC, the International Criminal Court. At this point, it seems that they rely a lot on other agencies to pursue their agenda, especially when it comes to arrest. Do you feel that the International Criminal Court is doing enough in the pursuit of Joseph Kony?
Well, we can always do more. And the new prosecutor, when he took office, reinvigorated the case. and that includes arrest efforts. The international community definitely can do more. Together with us, we have a professional tracking unit in the office of the prosecutor. We work together with other parts of the court, and we consistently engage with partners in the area to shrink the area in which Mr. Kony is presumed to be active, so that eventually we will be able to have him arrested.
I do not know the areas you're saying that, the areas in which Kony is presumed to be active right now. Is it the Democratic Republic of the Congo? Because from the Office of the Prosecution, I believe the person, on whom you're confirming these charges, at least you are aware of where he could be most likely to be. Do you have that?
Well, we can constantly receive intelligence, and we evaluate that. But the information that we have over the years shows that he is in very difficult terrain, in a region where jurisdictions overlap, different jurisdictions, which is also difficult to track somebody. He's not in a city or that kind where you could use, local police forces to potentially seek him out in a place of residence or something like that. He is an elusive rebel with a group that moves quite mobile in difficult terrain. So that is challenging.
It's going to be very challenging, and especially for the victims of LRA. Do they see some flicker of hope in this pursuit? Because now they've started, the process of confirming these charges as victims of LRA in northern Uganda. Is there any flicker of hope that maybe one day he's going to be probably arrested?
I really truly want to believe that, and if we continue our efforts and do not relent, then we can achieve that. It has been achieved in other cases with similar difficulties, but in all honesty, also in other cases, sometimes suspects have evaded justice for many, many years. But I'm not giving up hope, and if we are continue to pursue this, and we owe it to the victims to do that, then I just want to stay optimistic that we achieve it.
Okay, I want to know whether it's realistic for somebody to think that the international community maybe is not very bothered about pursuing Kony, because the intelligence, as you said, has indicated the errors of this operation, but it's very elusive, because we understand the technology that we have in the world right now, that the international community has got, is quite bigger than what Kony is using to elude arrest from the international community. Do you see any laxity from the international community?
Well, the International Criminal Court as a whole depends tremendously on cooperation. And the Kony situation is not the only one where we have struggled in the past to garner sufficient interest by the international superpowers, as well as actors and organizations that can help us. It is a persistent problem for the International Criminal Court on multiple levels, and the prosecutor does not tire to remind the international community of its commitment to the court and the need to support us.
Well, thank you so much, Leonie Vaughan, for coming to Uganda and, of course, talking to the media and also talking to the victims of LRA war that has taken place in the last 20 years. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can we take some pictures?